Hello and welcome to Organic Edible Garden. Today we're going to be looking at planting peas and beans. And spring's a really good time to put your peas and beans in, and as our broad beans will be finishing about another month or so, if we put them in now, they'll flow on through. We want to get our peas in now because peas are cool loving plants. They won't set flower over 24 degrees. So now's a good time to put them in. And if we plant them now, we'll probably have them early December all the way through to Christmas. Beans, on the other hand, can tolerate more heat, and they will keep fruiting all the way through to March or April next year. Peas and beans both like to grow in rich organic matter, so every time I plant them, I add some good compost. The next important thing to add to the soil for peas and beans is lime. They like a slightly alkali soil, so I always give it a good sprinkle of this every time I plant them. Today I'm going to plant some sugar snaps on this trellis. They probably only grow just over 1 metre tall, so it's a bit overkill. At home, all you need is some garden stakes or bamboo stakes and put them into a teepee that's about this high, and that will also work fine. The only other additive we're going to add to this is the rock dust for its multi-mineral. We're not going to add any nitrogen fertiliser or anything like that because beans and peas both fix nitrogen out the air. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to plant our peas straight in the ground. A lot of people like to soak their peas overnight, but I think it's not necessary because the ground's wet enough as it is. If you do have really wet beds, often it's better to put them into punnets first, grow them up and then transplant them into the ground. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to plant some peas that have already grown and some seeds. That way these will take off first and this will be a secondary crop behind it. Planting about 15 centimetres apart. As they grow, I can actually mulch up against their stems and hill them up, which they really like as well. That also keeps a lot of moisture around the roots. It's important to have a lot of air movement for your peas, because in humid climates like ours, you can get powdery mildew. If you find you do have a problem with things like powdery mildew, the best way to solve that is with baking soda or diluted milk. The ratio is about a teaspoon of baking soda in a litre of water, and milk diluted about 10:1. And just put in a watering can and water it over the leaves. Between each of these I'm going to put a pea seed and they'll come up between them. Plant the seeds only about to the depth of the size of the seed. If you plant them too deep, they can rot in the ground. Now's also a really good time to put in our beans. We're going to put up some running beans and some climbing beans. Our climbing beans are the shiny farnoses, which are the traditional old-fashioned Auckland French beans. You always know what the difference between the climb and a runner is. The climber always climbs clockwise and the runner always climbs anti-clockwise. I can plant these two together and save my seeds because they'll never cross-pollinate. Also with beans, you can plant for a longer period of time. I'm putting my first set in now, and I'll put another set in probably early December and my last set end of January. That'll give me a really long bean season, probably all the way through to March and early April. Both peas and French beans need the bees to pollinate them, so encourage bees into your garden. Your runner beans, however, need the bumblebees for pollination because they've got longer tongues. The best way to bring the bees and the bumblebees into your garden is planting bee-loving flowers. Also, you're going to bring in the beneficial insects, and by doing that, they'll also combat things like your green shield beetles, which is a real problem with your beans.